I'm an advocate for this stuff. I've been trying to talk all of you into using a little bit more of it and giving you sort of just some insights and some information to help you do it well so that it's a blessing to you. Because if you use this stuff and it ends up making your world harder, then that would not be the intention. So I want to welcome you all in. I'm so excited to be here with you all and to have you out there in the listening audience. I look forward to this all week to be able to do this. I'm truly grateful given the opportunity from this radio station to be able to do this with you for the decade that we've put this program together. We've been here a really long time together, and I appreciate all of you. The audience is very deep with knowledge, and so even if you call and ask a question and I don't have your answer for it, there's a really good chance that someone out there in the listening audience has some insight. So don't be bashful all program long. Call me 330-729-9977 and interrupt me as much and as often as you like. The best content comes from your head because you might be thinking about something, you might be struggling with something, but there are also probably hundreds of yous out there that won't call or too shy to call. So if you have the ability, and don't think that your question is too small, put the phone up to your ear and give us a call, 330-729-9977, or you can text me all program long as well, and that's even a little bit more passive, 330-333-1570. A couple updates about stuff that we have going on downtown. We are just rolling. We are embracing the community. We are taking people from the general population. There's so many people that can't do what they love to do, the music and the art and all that kind of stuff. And we're engaging with them, trying to give them an outlet to be let the world see them and hear their talents. And our big objective is to pull the genius out of everybody. And that's just not in the tech world. I mean, that's a general philosophy where if you're not using a computer, and I know that you have the potential to use a computer, what's it going to take before I get you to use a computer, right? It takes a little bit of information. It takes a little bit of comfort, and it has to have some purpose wrapped in there. Like, why would you? I've had plenty of customers that say, we love having paper trails. I love being able to do paper invoices. Okay, and I've got to be able to sell that there's a better way, and sometimes there's not. If the reason you love paper is the feel of it, I'm not going to ever replace that with a tablet in front of you and clicking things on your phone, because what makes you feel good about paper is that you know your numbers. And it makes you feel secure. So I have to fill in that security. So that's what we do here. For the last 10 years, we've taken it, opened it up to you. You guys get to ask any question you'd like, and then I get to try to help you, assist you, at least give you some theoretical answer. Even if I can't solve your problem over the radio, I can at least give you words that maybe help you get some perspective to solve your own problem. So we're all sitting at home right now. Way more than we normally do. I had a great conversation the other day with my pastor, Pastor Doug, about the tether we have to our phones and how much addiction to technology is going to be on the other side of this. I mean, literally, it's gotten worse instead of better, where at least if you had to go somewhere, you were forced to not be in front of your computer or your phone or your television or Netflix or whatever, and now we are just screen driven all day, all night, screens and screens and screens. And it is so terrible on your mind and your eyes and your physique, of course. So maybe let me throw just a recommendation out there that every once in a while you do a little bit of fasting from these tech things. And I know it's weird to even hear a tech guy suggesting that every once in a while you got to fast away from this stuff. But I'm telling you, super critical for the psychology, where your brain might be occupied with what's in front of you, but it's all just mindless stuff. Like, you need mindless stuff now and again when your life gets complicated and whatever. You just want to retreat to something that's not going to tax you in any way. But when you get sucked into the mindless stuff, it does that. It rips your energy away from you. So I just want to maybe once a day put it away, right? Oh, that would be a good bumper sticker. Anyway, once a day, put it away. And if you don't have someone, like you don't have a family member that you can have a 1 hour in-depth conversation, you're going to have to invent some ways to do analog stuff. So when you're going about your day and you have some, you see some, I don't do puzzles, right? So puzzles wouldn't work for me. Board games, there's only a couple of them. Monopoly's a good one for me. I play that, but there aren't too many people. Like, if I play Monopoly with you, I will pick a fight with you. And so if I like you, I don't want to play Monopoly. I only want to play Monopoly with you if I don't like you, because we probably aren't going to be friends on the other side of the game anyhow. So 330-729-9977. Let's take some phone calls. Let's go to Herb first. Herb, you're on the Youngstown Computer Show. How can I help you?
I was wondering, Raspberry Pi. I happened to see it on my, it was on my phone, and I looked it up, and it was used to, in one case, operate a garage door operator. Would that be a good little tool for a youngster to practice or play with, or even us as adults? What usage would we have for a Raspberry Pi?
Okay, so Raspberry Pi is just a very, very, very low-end computer, but it is super, super cheap to have and purchase. You can get one for like $60. So it's not going to be able to run an operating system like Windows that you're used to. It's going to run an operating system that's a little bit more sophisticated, or not sophisticated, but not graphically driven, sort of like something in the Linux world. So and Raspberry Pis are really good at simple operations computing. So if you have something that you want to run as a server of some capacity, run one service on, it's really good at that. But it's great to tinker with, to see what you can figure out and try, because it's so low cost.
Well, I was thinking, I've got an 8-year-old, and I was trying to figure out whether or not that would build some mathematical skills or some possibly some programming skills.
It could lead to that. Like the first thing that you're going to do is it's basically a box that you can start loading stuff on. So you have to pick what you're going to load onto it. And usually you're going to steer people towards the Linux operating systems. That in of itself is not just a, you put in the disk and run it type of thing. There's some learning that has to go on about what you're doing and how the system operates. So you can watch some YouTube videos about, Linux Mint, and then figure out how to load it and then do that to your Raspberry Pi. So it's a great experimental zone.
Right, because I go back to the DOS era when we did things, and even the TI 99-4A, which was probably before you were born, or when you were born, and that's why I'm saying, and some of the Radio Shack computers also, because we had a computer club, and I just thought Raspberry Pi might be something that a youngster, as an entry level, possibly in programming or just in robotics, might be, a practical little thing for a youngster.
Absolutely. I think they'd really dig it too.
Yeah. But I didn't know, do you have any down at your shop by any chance?
Nothing new. We had some that were running Bitcoin miners quite a while ago, so a bunch of used stuff, but we haven't stocked it in a while.
All right, because I was curious if, I didn't know if you would be running a class on it after this is all over.
Interesting.
And maybe to pique the curiosity of young people.
Yeah, we might just have to do that. I'd run it. No doubt.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the electronics store downtown, down by the WRTA?
No, I've heard about it, but I've never actually saw it or found it. What is it called?
It's Army's Electronics.
Yeah, I've heard all about it, and I've never been there.
Well, if you get a chance, when the weather warms up, you might stop and take a walk down there and talk to Anthony. He's been there since it started. He was grown up there, actually. But when we were kids, on Saturdays, we'd walk downtown, and that was, again, it was a lot of audio. It was a lot of everything. But it's a jewel in downtown, and since Radio Shack is gone, and Allied Electronics in town here is gone, and Radio Parts, all of these places are gone. But if you're an experimenter, which I know you are, you just ought to take a look and walk down there to see what's available in Youngstown. And he likes to keep it a little bit under the radar because he's only a one-person operation. But if you're looking for parts, it is really just an interesting electronics store. And again, it's not audio, it's not any of those things, but it's components and parts and pieces. And you just take a walk down there on a nice sunny day.
Awesome. Thanks, sir. I appreciate you calling. Appreciate the information. I'm going to have to check that out. As a kid, let me see. As a kid, I would we got the electronics kit. Everybody got these electronics kits where it had the little springs and it came with the wires and batteries, and it came with a book that would teach you if you hooked up like number 155 to whatever, include the capacitor and the LEDs and the batteries. that you could do stuff like you make a little radio or make a switch that turns a light on, make something that creates an alarm. So these are really cool projects, and I got into electronics with that stupid little kit, right? And it was cumbersome. The projects weren't all that hard to put together. It was like it was pretty much crafted my brain to be able to follow coding because the book explained a routine that you'd have to go through in order for something, to work. So, but it was great. But then we graduated after that to going down to Radio Shack, buying individual components, buying a breadboard, and then soldering things. Like I can remember one project when I had been like 8 or 9 years old that I read that these LEDs lasers. I was fascinated, still am fascinated with lasers, but I read that lasers would just shoot forever in one direction, right? It just keep going. And so I was trying to create my own version of a laser by using some LEDs and some mirrors, and I was trying to increase the amplification and increase the power, and I didn't understand that I was never going to generate enough power from a 9-volt battery to be able to create a laser powerful enough. But I tried, and that was the coolest part, that even if it wasn't successful, I got to plug these components into breadboards and solder them and short things out, and the smell of burning out a capacitor, just to, it's one of those things that stick in your brain forever. So Herb, thanks for that phone call. Appreciate it. And I'll have to check out Armies. It's good that we do have sort of an electronics store, even though I know most of you out there would be interested in, you walk up to a circuit board and find out that, or see that it's fried, and just go buy your own replacement component for 17 cents, solder it in there, and you're good to go. We're in a consumer transactional, marketplace. So we buy the whole circuit board, and then we're back in business again. So we're losing that skill set of people who are even willing to pop those things off. One of the coolest things when we have a piece of equipment that dies is it's sort of like an autopsy where I want to know, I know that it died. I want to know what died in it. And, some of our TVs that are going bad, right? Your TV's on the wall, no longer works. Oh, got to chuck it, go get a new one. Well, sometimes it's a 14-cent component that's in there. If you know what you're doing, you pop the back off, you find out what component it is. And a lot of times you can read what components are most prone to failure. So it's only probably 5 or 6 things that could fail. And then, so if you see someone like, hey, this TV stopped working, does anybody want it? It's free. Go pick it up and get some free television out of it if you can figure it out. Every Saturday, I'm watching a YouTube video to see how to do something new that I didn't know before. I'm building a stage downtown, so I had to know how to do some framing. I have to know how to do framing on a stage that people are going to be standing on, and so I'm probably learning how to do way more than my stage requires. But I learned how to do something. So it is amazing that if we can just sort of like encourage the next generation to learn some of this stuff, you might see new possibilities take shape right off the get-go. So 330-729-9977. Let's go to Art next. Art, you're on the Youngstown Computer Show. How can I help you?
How you doing? I got some questions.
Yeah, go for it.
What is the best program or app? You saw that choir with the governor when he put like 50 people on the air and they sang that song?
Yeah.
What's the most you could put on a screen on an internet string?
Well, the product that they're using is Zoom. We've tried using this. They have a free version that sets your meetings at like 40 minutes, I believe. And I've seen pages and pages and pages of connections. I don't know how many. I think I read it was like up to 100 people per conference on there. But Zoom seems to be like the runaway leader at this point.
And you can put that on your web page, or it has to be on their system.
Well, they have an app, and you can also put it on local desktops and laptops. It's an application that you can run.
So you could embed it into your website, so it comes from your website, not from them? I want something to embed into your website. I don't want to go to, it's not, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it's a service that they're extending to you, so it's through their app. If you wanted to take the feed from their app and put it on your website, you would have to then stream it from their app to your website.
Okay, and that's up to 100 people is the most they could do?
Yeah, and I don't think all 100 of them are on the same screen. I think there's some scrolling left and right that you have to go. I think on one screen, I want to say that it's 4 up and maybe 8 over, so you probably get 32 people on one screen.
Now, 32. So, okay, now can you delete them one at a time, or can they talk separately?
When they talk, they get mic access, so they're the ones that there's some over talking. So more than one person can talk at one time.
Okay, and you can delete them like a contest.
Yep, you sure can.
Okay, I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks, Art, for being out there. And other caller, I'll make sure that when we come back, we take your phone call, 330-729-9977. You can text me at 333-1570. You're listening to the Youngstown Computer Show on 570 WKBN. I'll be back.
iHeartRadio is proud to join international advocacy organization Global Citizen to support One World Together at Home, a very special broadcast event supporting and celebrating healthcare workers on the front lines and the World Health Organization as they lead the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic, with appearances by Billie Eilish, Chris Martin, Elton John, J Balvin, John Legend, Keith Urban, Lady Gaga, Paul McCartney, Stevie Wonder, and so many more.
Ready to do this.
Listen on iHeartRadio tonight at 8 p.m.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-276-1640. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-276-1640. That's 800-276-1640 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-276-1640. 800-276-1640.
Hello, I'm Ohio Governor Mike DeWine. We need all Ohioans to help us slow the spread of the coronavirus. For the most up-to-date information, please visit our website at coronavirus.ohio.gov or call 1-833-4-ASK-ODH 7 days a week.
Furnished by Governor Mike DeWine. Aired by the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Listen, could Gregory change your life?
I went from size 44 pants back to the size 38 pants that I had worn when I was in college. Now the 38-inch pants fall off of me. I lost the weight. I felt better. I've lost 63 pounds and 6 inches of pant size. God bless you for having this product and having it at a reasonable price.
Outstanding. Gregory is 70 and lost belly fat and 6 inches off his waist in 5 months. Since 2004, Andro 400 has been helping men like you lose belly fat, gain energy, and improve their lifestyle. We guarantee it. Go to andro400.com for more true testimonials, before and after photos, and special discounts. Only available on andro400.com. andro400.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Youngstown Computer Show. Thank you for joining me here today. We get to check in on one another, keep each other inspired, keep each other moving forward. So I do want to hear from you about what you've been doing new and new discovered throughout this quarantining process and sitting at home and having more time on your hands. So if you have any new tech that you've experienced, want to share it with us, give us your quick review of something new that you haven't experienced. And then, like I said, there's tons of people out there that don't know what something's riding around in your head. So spill it out, share it with us. Let us know what new stuff you're into. And it can't be that, we're just all going to sit around and, play video games. That's just not how we're built to do that. For the mindless stuff lasts for a little bit, but we want to get into something that is challenging and that stirs our soul a little bit. What's nice is I get to see everyone has become a YouTuber. I mean, old, young, exerciser, nutritionists, inspirational speakers, artists, and it's a medium that is allowed and it reaches the globe, right? And so it's totally appealing. And so if you haven't done it yet, when you broadcast on YouTube or Facebook or over on Twitter, you're basically sharing an outgoing video and audio feed. And most of your cell phones, Android devices, iPhones, all of them are probably capable of doing a broadcast without really adding much of anything. So you lean it up against something and you turn the Facebook app on. You put it in the orientation that you're interested in broadcasting with. Don't change it midstream because it annoys everybody when the orientation goes from portrait to landscape in the middle of a video feed, because it might change on your screen, but we're still watching it sideways. And I'm sick of turning my monitor sideways to see what you have to put out there. But anyway, if you lean the phone against something and get a good angle of yourself, you can go to live video and do a broadcast. And so it will share your broadcast with everybody who either follows your profiles, or you can also it can also be shared. So if your content's pretty good, what will happen is you'll start broadcasting, and then the people that you know will share it with people they know. So for the first 5 minutes, you want to just kind of give a little introduction and then ramp it up as the programming and the content goes on. And then so if you're big ones right now that I'm seeing a ton of are both nutrition and exercise. That seems like everybody was like getting to the point where they're feeling a little unhealthy. They got 3-4 weeks of eating nonstop and probably drinking nonstop. And now it's time. They're like, I feel like crap. Let me get back into shape for some reason. So everybody got a New Year's resolution here in April. And so if you're doing calisthenics or running, they're making it kind of fun. I mean, some of these personalities, I probably foresee doing some more local, national, and maybe even, getting a follower base that will continue on the other side of this. But if not, it's really competitive space. So what you might find is you do a broadcast, 2 people are watching you that you're friends, and it doesn't get much traction, and it's a little discouraging because you put all that effort into producing some content that nobody saw, right? But what the deal is that you're dealing with a distribution algorithm. It's trying to line up content that you create with people who want to watch the content, right? So what you have to do is you have to engage with the people who are most likely after it, right? So if you get known as talking about somebody who does X, then the algorithms learn you and it helps distribute you. I know that's not grammatically correct. I don't care. And so you have to keep doing those things and talking about those things and tagging those things, going to groups with those things. And then the algorithm's like, oh, this guy's really involved in those things. And then when you do content, it makes those connections for you. And it learns you and it unlearns you just as fast. So if you stop doing it, you lose that momentum. So it is 100% a momentum game. The first 10 videos that you do, nobody's going to watch, and it's going to go fly fat. Fly flat. And so what you're going to do is, here's how you have to picture this. Nobody's going to watch it the first time around. But after you start putting out content, maybe your 11th and 12th videos, you get 25 or 30 or 100 people to watch it. Guess what those people do? They love your content. They love you. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to go back through your library, and you're going to make it super easy to find your content that you recorded when you had 0 listeners. And then you're going to buy a new follower and a new subscriber into your brand. So just keep doing it. That's what I can tell you is keep doing it. Pick your topic. Pick that topic that you want to own and keep doing that topic over and over and over again. And I'll tell you, you're going to get subscribers. It's just part of the distribution algorithm. So 330-729-9977 is the phone number. You can also text me at 330-333-1570. Talk about a little bit about what Youngstown Computers got going on next week, because we're going to go back into operations again. Yahoo! All right, we'll be back. This is the Youngstown Computer Show on 570 WKBN.
Dr. Hahn and his staff at the Belmont Eye Clinic are the leaders in LASIK surgery. It's where I went, and I'm so pleased with the outcome. Hi, this is Ron Verb. Get rid of those annoying glasses and contact lenses. It's quick and painless. Imagine never fumbling for those glasses again. There's only one choice when it comes to your vision. That's the Belmont Eye Clinic with 2 convenient locations in Liberty and Canfield. Make an appointment today, 330-759-7672. That's 330-759-7672.
And here's some of the stories we're working on today. U.S. Marshals and detectives in Warren are searching for a suspect accused of killing a mother inside her home. The Traveling Food Pantry plans 2 more stops the next Monday, April 20th at Maplewood High School, and Friday, May 1st at Beaver local schools. The Mahoney County Coroner's Office has identified the victim in a rollover crash that happened in Youngstown on Thursday as 31-year-old Marcus Menton. The Salem Super Cruise that was set for June 11th through the 14th has been canceled due to COVID-19. A Pennsylvania man was stopped in connection with violating Governor Mike DeWine's order prohibiting out-of-state residents from purchasing alcohol. It happened on Washington Street in East Palestine. The primary news source in Mercer County plans some changes coming to the Sharon Herald. After COVID-19 drive-through testing in Austintown and Camel, QuickMed and CM Laboratories plan to set up testing at Firestone Pool parking lot in Columbiana. We'll tell you when that testing will happen. From the Power Chevrolet Buick GMC of Calcutta, Ohio newsroom, I'm Dave Price.
Our next update at 2. From the O'Charley's Digital Studios. $9.99 menu, 9 great meals, 1 great price. O'Charley's. For your home or business, call Mazza's Heating and AC in Girard, 330-545-6063. Your factory authorized Bryant dealer. Now, the Storm Team 27 forecast.
We're getting our sunshine back this Saturday. Temperature is warming closer to 50 for our highs. Mostly sunny for the later part of the day. Tonight, staying clear. Temperatures fall to the mid-30s. In the Storm Team 27 Weather Center, I'm Alexis Walters.
iHeartMedia knows small businesses across the country are facing new challenges during the COVID-19 pandemic. So to help, we've put together the iHeartRadio Small Business Crisis Resource, which has critical information, including links to federal and state resources providing businesses with stimulus loans, grants, and other financial aid. We also shine a spotlight on small businesses doing good right now. Visit iHeart.com/smallbusiness to learn more. That's iHeart.com/smallbusiness, because your small business is big to us.
Message and data rates may apply.
If you're considering going back to school, ask yourself the following questions. Do you need the flexibility to take classes on your schedule? Do you have college credits you need transferred? Do you want to earn a quality degree from a world-renowned university? If you answered yes to any of these questions, Arizona State University is the perfect school for you. Arizona State University offers over 200 highly ranked degree programs 100% online. You'll learn the same degree as you would on campus from wherever you are on your schedule. Plus, ASU Online accepts most transfer credits. For information, text LESSON to 35517. Learn for yourself why the Wall Street Journal ranks ASU 5th in the nation for producing the best qualified graduates, and why 88% of ASU grads are recruited within 90 days of graduation. Learn to grow, learn to succeed, and learn to thrive at Arizona State University. To learn more about ASU Online degrees, text LESSON to 35517. That's LESSON to 35517.
Keystone, we empower, educate, and employ the blind and disabled. We're changing people's lives for the better.
It's with your generous donation each year that the Keystone Blind Association offers opportunities to those who are blind and visually impaired. Your tax-deductible donation can be made to the Keystone Blind Association, 3056 East State Street in Hermitage, PA, or online at keystoneblind.org.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Youngstown Computer Show. I am Joe Danier, owner of Youngstown Computer. This is your Saturday show where we get to talk about things that are happening in tech and science. We're filling in the void of normalcy here, getting back to our normal state of mind, because we are definitely going to roar back and resume things eventually, and we're going to kind of keep in touch with one another and keep each other motivated until that time happens. Because I told all my guys that we've got to go to a physical pause where we pause things on the outside, and we got to go to a fast forward on the inside where we develop our internal self and keep our brains going in a direction, because you do not want to pause the brain. The brain just dies when you don't give it good things to do. So use that little magical black box that we call a computer to push into new territories, whether it be multimedia or I'm weird, but I go to Excel sheets, I go to spreadsheets in order to make complete the world. And so it just makes me feel better when I can turn things into numbers and then make the numbers make sense. So whenever I'm feeling flustered or lost, I go to my trusty spreadsheet And like I said, I translate real world things into numbers, and then numbers into spreadsheets, and spreadsheets into formulas, formulas into answers, and then answers makes me feel good. And there you go. So 330-729-9977. You can text me at 333-1570 as well. And we have a text message that happened. Not only is the Raspberry Pi a great small computer, but it is unique because it has inputs and outputs that allow you to interact with electronics or sensors to turn on lights. And thank you, Texter. And that's what I said. Like, we have people in this audience that are that their depth of knowledge is extensive. And it used to be back in the day where when the Apples and the Microsofts of the world started to emerge, part of the allure of a computer was the hackability, the customization of what these devices could do. We didn't want a prepackaged computer. We wanted to put the components on it for how we were going to be using it. Could be software, could be things like modems and I/O. But what people like myself and a lot of you out there like, the stuff that you can make it do. And it wasn't necessarily practical stuff. As soon as you figure out how some of this stuff works, you write really, like primitive applications and stuff like that, just to see if you can make this happen there. And so a lot of today's technology came from the primitive advances of yesteryear, with people getting equipment, finding out that it wasn't, end-to-end control, and being able to do stuff with it. So this texter basically says that the Raspberry Pi allows you some freedom, some liberties that you can take in both software. So Herb was talking about, if you just presented a Raspberry Pi to someone who was younger, if it automatically sort of like got you into the fray. Well, it's a tool that could lead there. It's open source. So, the discovery of the device and then how to operate it and then what it could do then could lead you into things like programming, because it forces a little bit more of an extensive understanding of this stuff. Some of you operating a computer know the extent of operations. You don't know what's inside or how it works, right? You don't really care. You put your focus on moving the mouse around and touching things on the keyboard, and stuff happens, right? Well, there's more stuff on the inside that a lot of us have really, literally, I haven't touched electronic components to do stuff other than computing stuff in a long time, right? I haven't built a circuit in a couple circuits, showing my son how circuitry works. I've done a couple of them, but not for an end, not for like a experimental end. And I think, like I said, that era when the Radio Shacks were there, the reason Radio Shack went out is because people stopped doing that kind of stuff. People stopped messing around. I spent I think it was my 13th birthday, before my party, all my friends came over to my basement. I was sitting there writing some QBasic commands, writing a program. And it wasn't even a good program. You know what kind of program it was? When you run the program, it asks you what your name is and asks you what you want to do, and you have to hit the numbers to load a program, right? That's what I was working on my 13th birthday. And I was annoyed that I had to go do birthday things when my program was almost finished. It wasn't, like I said, I was so drawn to that new technology and what you could have it do. And you can see that if I showed my friend, like, hey, look at what I did. If you run this program, it says, what's your name? And you type in Joe. Guess what it says? It says, hi, Joe. It uses the input of what I just put in to then reply to me with my own name. Now, in memory space, it knows what my name is. I could do that elsewhere. I could use my name somewhere else. And then if I hit 1, then it's going to load this program. If I hit 2, it's going to do this. And I was just loving the fact that I understand how to interact with a computer system through code. And that was just amazing. Blew my mind. And it changed trajectory, no doubt. And so if you can get and buy some of these computer kits, there's a bunch of Raspberry Pis that along that road you can buy breadboards and a whole electronics kit that come with a multimeter, that comes with battery packs, an assortment of transistors. It comes with switches and all that kind of stuff, and these really simple electronics projects that you can get going for the next generation. I want to see the 10-year-olds now getting excited about pushing a button and make a fan spin. I know it's a lot harder today to get a wow factor, right? Everything is so fast and so pretty and so loud. When you're competing with that, it's hard to engage that way. But let's try, because I'm telling you that it really does change how the brain functions. So 330-729-9977. Let's go to Tom. Tom, you're on the Youngstown Computer Show. How can I help you?
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I have a problem with Windows 10, and I'd like to see if you can help me with a solution.
Okay, go ahead.
In File Explorer, when I bring File Explorer up, you see all your drives and all the things that you put in there. You could pick tiles and wherever. But on the top right-hand corner, you have a search bar where you have a little magnifying glass. You go ahead and put your cursor in there and click on it, and I want to start typing. Let's say I'm looking for the word Texas. As soon as I hit the letter T, it all disappears, and I get a red arrow pointing to the right. And I can't see what I've typed. Then after it's done searching, it pops back up and says, oh, I couldn't find Texas anywhere. And then that Texas that I typed is now in the list. It's a drop-down list everywhere. I can't fix this problem.
All right, I'm losing you, Tom. Let me make sure that I understood you. So, and I'll tell you, I ran into one of these almost exactly how you're describing it a couple weeks ago. Now, I ran out of time trying to actually figure it out. I actually went and just ran a repair on the operating system, but my version of it was no matter if you would type down on the magnifying glass on the top right, or if you would just go into that the Cortana bar at the bottom and start typing, same thing. My first reaction was that there was something wrong with indexing, where it was having trouble recalling any of the indexing thing. But then it started misbehaving, where it started pushing things around. It wasn't just a matter of it was missing indexing information. There was a part of the search function that was probably messed up. That's as far as I took it, and I just ended up going into system control panel and running a repair, and then it went back to normal. No loss of data. I'm still interested to see what the problem was. So if you end up figuring out, let me know, send me a message or call back to the program and let me know. But I can't offer any more insight. Typically, I'll take one of those unknowns and I'll push it out to some of the Microsoft message boards, and pretty quickly that somebody will come back with something that that I would have never tried in a million years, because it was a combination between, well, if you have this and that, then those two things line up and block this, and again, it's one of those things that's too far fetched for me to even have troubleshot. And I have to say that in the last year or so, there aren't many Windows functions that I had to troubleshoot. And it was, if you came up through Windows 3.1 and 95 and 98, there was always a Windows function that somehow would go berserk, and you had 1,000 different ways of rehabbing it and bringing it back. But I'll have to say that Windows 10's pretty solid as far as that goes. So, Tom, thanks for the phone call. Sorry we lost you there. But please let me know if you do end up finding that out. Let's go to Mike next. Mike, you're on the Youngstown Computer Show. How can I help you?
Hey, how are you doing today?
Good.
I got a question. I used to print up papers and I never paid attention much, but it used to number the pages. Say I got about 10 pages, I'd get the number on them. Is there a certain thing that maybe that I did that they disappeared for some reason?
Are you talking about like Word, or is it like through?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, and what you can do is you can add in Word, it's header and footer information, and they have these templates that you can throw in there that you can add page numbers, and you can add different stuff that always prints at the bottom. Sometimes you'll be able to
Right.
put the title and stuff like that. So if you look under, I think in the navigation ribbon, I believe it says template and then footer. It's not in front of me, so it's tough for me to tell. But look for footer information to be able to add page numbers.
I mean, if you get Word up on the screen and then it's in that, what you got to do first? Or?
Yeah, you'll bring Word up, and then you'll go through the ribbon menus at the top until you find one that's labeled footers. If you go into footers, they should have one that says page numbers somewhere on this. I'll have to get in front of me if I can get one in front of me that has Word on it.
Page
and take
layout. It has page layout, margins, and all this and that. But it's under
footers. Yep.
Footers. Okay, and then line numbers. Let's see. But I'll have to look for that. So it's in that.
It is. Yep.
Top part. Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you being out there. 330-729-9977. And so they in the formatting, and it's tough to tell you if you've got a 2010 version versus Office 365, they move stuff around a little bit. But if you dig, sometimes if you search for exactly what you want, there's a little help thing all the way to the right. If you type in page numbers, they have these little help articles that will walk you through it a little bit more than I'm capable of doing on the radio here. So a lot of those things. And Google's your friend. I'm telling you, there's a tutorial or a video or a step-by-step guide to just about doing everything. Just be careful of where you end up after Google searches that it's legit. Take this minute here and do make some sort of predictive warnings about what we're seeing as far as scams and what people are attempting to do to prey on innocence is what it comes down to. I mean, you don't know any better, and they know that, and they know what to say to be able to take something that you have. So with all these stimulus checks and unemployment insurance and logging into SSI and logging to IRS, there's a lot of scams, and here's how they're pulling most of it off: is that they are creating pages that look a lot like the original pages. So if you go to irs.gov, now when you look at the URL bar at the top, there's a specific format that URLs keep to, and you can follow the data path. So if you start at the URL bar and you click up there, you're going to start with HTTP or HTTPS, right? And it's always going to be that way. And then you're going to have : // Now, whatever comes after the / can be anything. I can put irs.gov.youngstowncomputer.com, right? What matters is after you get to the HTTP : / then you want to slide over to the .com, the .net, or .org, and look immediately to the left of whatever that .com is and read it. Now, dashes, right, can be part of a domain. Dots are not going to be part of a domain. So if you look at the .com and you look to the left of it, it says yahoo.com, right? And it says .yahoo.com, and you're pretty safe. It's a yahoo.com. But if it says my-yahoo.com, now it's not Yahoo anymore. It's my-Yahoo. So you got to worry about the URL being able to distinguish between irs.gov, right, and my-irs.com, right? It says IRS in it, right, but it's different. It's not going to be what the IRS. Now they mock up a website that looks just like the IRS's, so that you click on the "Send me my money" and you type in your Social Security number and you hit submit, right? And it says, sorry, the website's down. So you don't know any wiser. But the first thing that you could have done to protect you from giving information to a website that's not the IRS is being able to look at that URL bar every stinking time. I don't care if you follow the link from a Google search. I don't care if you follow a link from an email. I don't care if you typed it in yourself. Always, before you give personal information on there, look to see that the URL is entered the way that you think it is. All right, 330-729-9977. Let's go to Larry. Larry, you're on the Youngstown Computer Show. How can I help you?
Hey, good afternoon.
Hi.
I normally don't listen to you, but I happened to catch you in the car driving up, and I've had a question that I haven't been able to solve. It's an upgrade to Windows 10. You may have already had this on your show at some point. It upgraded, and my computer then would not recognize any of my old files or anything, and it said, click on this thing if you're having trouble, and I click on it, and this new upgrade doesn't have any memory of all of my other information in it, so I just deleted the upgrade, and I was back to normal. But I'm afraid to upgrade now because I don't know if it's only me or if it's a problem Windows had with one of its upgrades, but it did it on my laptop and my PC.
Percentage-wise, I would say about 5% of the upgrades that we do, we can't transfer the programs from old to new. But now the wizard, if you get a new version of the upgrade, it will tell you that it's not compatible and you can bail out before it actually applies. So there's a little bit more safety mechanisms now than there was before.
So is that a problem with that upgrade, or was it just some computers would have that? Because right now I put it on pause and it's not upgrading anything for me. But I'm debating. I was going to try it again and see if the latest upgrades would do the same thing or not.
Well, I'm going to guess. I mean, you can run it again just to see if things have improved or it got compatibility. But I think if there was a lack of compatibility before, it's probably still going to be that way. I would just get a new update, not running the automated one that's sitting down in the tray. I would actually get an update flash drive and try to run that sucker and see if it runs a little bit better.
Okay, well, thank you, because it was so annoying, and every time it would do the same thing on both of my computers.
Yep. Okay. All right. Thank you for being out there.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. And they've extended for a period of time most Windows 7 users to just be able to upgrade to Windows 10 without having to purchase a license. But you have to run the wizard to be able to see. It runs this analytics and inspector to make sure that when it upgrades that it's going to go well. And I have some machines that will just continue to run Windows 7 on just because it's not a good candidate and they have got too much software to be able to either reinstall or purchase it for the new system. So they're just kind of stuck on that. So, Larry, thanks for the phone call. Appreciate it. 330-729-9977. This is the Youngstown Computer Show. I'll be right back.
During this time, take advantage of our Shop at Home service. Check out fairwayfordohio.com. We have over 700 vehicles, all drastically reduced with actual photos. That's fairwayfordohio.com or 330-533-FORD. Fairway, that's the way we do business.
There are better-known tractors in the world than Coyote. Ones with bigger names, longer histories, more popular hats, cute toy lines. But there's not a single tractor ever been built that's better equipped to do the dirty work. So we'll just focus on what really matters. Coyote, we dig dirt. Stop in to your locally owned Evolution Ag in Lisbon or at evolutionagllc.com.
The free iHeartRadio app, with you wherever you need to be, especially working from home or schooling from home. Playlists like Brain Fuel for studying, or great music playlists like Water Cooler Jams for staying motivated while working from home. Looking to binge something for your brain? Try our Cabin Fever bingeable podcasts like The Best of Stuff, Stuff You Should Know, and Stuff You Missed in History Class. Plus, unlike that Zoom call, you can listen to iHeartRadio in whatever you're wearing. Here when you need it, and always free. Download the iHeartRadio app now.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Youngstown Computer Show. I'm Joe Danier, owner of Youngstown Computer, and I'm host of this program for the last decade or so. My job is to dispense information, coax a lot of you in new territories to start using new technologies, get comfortable with it. We literally have gone from a world where almost 100% of our business at one time was troubleshooting Windows problems. Then it went to cleaning up virus messes, and then we've gotten to the point where a lot of those things don't happen anymore. So people are spending money now on getting into new things, and I love that because then instead of being so reactive to problems and always associating technology with having some sort of expense or having some kind of liability, that when you spend money forward, where you bought a TV for the features and you bought software for what you can do now and you improve your life because of it, then our interactions aren't these negative ones where you come see me and it's the same as going to the dentist where you just don't show up on your own accord. It's only when you have a problem. Then we can like each other a little bit more because I'm not ever always seeing you at your worst when you're scared and you know it's going to cost a lot and whatever. You can be like, hey, you know what? I want to do something better faster. And one of my early when I was in the thick of malware, spyware, and virus, this had to have been probably 2009, 2010. And we were maxed. We were working on at any given time. You'd walk in our office, there would be 30 machines on our bench, all of them doing these cleanups. We had all of our staff was either delivering or picking up, and it was madness. It was the worst time in our industry. One guy called up and said, "Hey, I want to do voice to text. I don't want to type anymore. I want to just be able to talk," and that happens. I was like, "Whoa!" One person out of everybody who called me today, and they want to try to get into something new. And it was rough because you sometimes feel like we're sort of doctor's office where we're going from emergency to emergency. And I take pause with somebody who called out and said, "This is an emergency, but I want to do something that fascinates me or I'm interested in." So that was kind of cool. 330-729-9977. Let's go to Mike next. Mike, you're on the Youngstown Computer Show. How can I help you?
Oh, great. Hey, good to talk to you. How you doing today?
Real good. How about yourself?
Good. Hey, just out of curiosity, I like to play around with graphic art on my computer, and I was just wondering, like when I've gotten some printed on large format printers in the past through a commercial organization, I send them the actual file, not rasterized, but vector file. I was just wondering, they have that, or they can keep that and then see what I've done, or do I group it and it's not able to be ungrouped? The different elements of the. Do you know anything about that, or you have an idea?
Yeah, so vector art is when you scale up the artwork, that all of the components of the artwork grow as you scale it up. So regular images, if you take an image and just start to blow it up, it stretches pixels and it gets fuzzy, right? So with vector art, when you stretch that, it doesn't get fuzzy because it just grows proportionally mathematically.
Right. And I was just curious that if there was a different way of communicating that file to be printed without anyone being able to use that file or copy that file, or I was just wondering if there was something that I could do to the files before I give them to the printing organization to print them, that, you know what I'm saying? They wouldn't be able to take elements from that file, or I guess kind of steal it. Am I copyrighted because I'm creating something?
Well, most businesses will have sort of like privacy. You can challenge them first and say, "How do you treat my data?" So it's similar to what we do. So I can go and back up your computer and make an emergency backup. I have your data. So our policy with customers' data is we make sure that when it's in our possession, that we treat it a certain way, where we'll use it in a professional deal. When we don't need it professionally anymore, we wipe it out and it's no longer in our possession. We're not allowed to take something, and like if I found a video off of somebody's computer that I had, I couldn't use it in a private capacity because it would go against what privacy policy that we had on their machine.
Oh, okay. And so I guess whenever I would do this in the future, maybe I can get some kind of a little bit of an agreement thing going, or something signed, or
and it works on the honor system. So I mean, technically, yes, they can probably harvest it and send it out, and you'd never know it. But if you have the conversation, most companies will do better than that.
Okay. Hey, great. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you being out there. Appreciate or nice talking to you. And in the artistic world, that's a big thing. There's a number of times where even our developers have grabbed public domain, or what they thought was public domain artwork that didn't end up being, that was developed for someone, and somehow it made it into the public domain. And whenever artists call me and let me know that we've got our hands on something that they own, we are super quick on making sure that we don't get into anybody else's territory, because that's their living, and we have healthy respect for what people do. 330-729-9977. We'll be back for another hour. This is the Youngstown Computer Show on 570 WKBN. We'll be back.
Have you wanted to speak a new language, but you thought it'd be too hard or take too much time? Then go to Babbel.com, download the app, and try it for free. In just 15 minutes a day, you'll be on your way to speaking a new language in just a few weeks. And right now, you can try Babbel for free. Babbel starts out teaching you words and phrases by matching them with pictures. You won't believe how easy the interactive program is. Soon the sentences get a little bigger, and before you know it, you're having simulated conversations voiced by native speakers. And because Babbel is crafted by language experts and uses the spaced repetition method, in just 10 to 15 minutes a day, you'll be speaking the language of your choice with real confidence. With Babbel, you can speak a language. Just go to Babbel.com and start your first lesson in the language of your choice for free. Download the Babbel app or go to Babbel.com and try it for free. That's Babbel.com.
On AM and thousands of devices, including Amazon Echo, Google Home, and Sonos. With our iHeartRadio app, 570 WKBN, Youngstown. It's 2 o'clock.
From ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. Protesters taking to the streets, ignoring pleas for social distancing, calling for an end to the stay-at-home orders. Chris Smith is a small business owner in Kentucky telling the governor,
it's time to step down from being a tyrant.
Yeah.
You know,
You gotta free the people. And
freedom. It's all about freedom.
Yeah.
Our choices. If you want to stay home, stay home. If you don't, let's do it.
After saying it's the individual states' call when to reopen, now President Trump pushing back on state leaders who say widespread testing needs to be increased before they can consider reopening. Trump claims that the U.S. remains sufficiently prepared with testing kits. ABC's Trevor Alt.
The president's coronavirus task force says they have enough testing for phase 1 in every state. But when asked if they had enough testing for phase 2, they said they don't know yet because they still don't know how much the virus is being spread by people who don't have symptoms.
Governor Andrew Cuomo in New York, the daily coronavirus briefing opening with some good news. The rate of COVID-19 hospitalizations has declined, but New York State did lose 540 citizens to the illness on Friday.
504 in hospitals, 36 in nursing homes. Nursing homes are the single biggest fear in all of this.
Cuomo also discussed reopening the state after the statistical evidence shows it's wise to do so, and it will likely be done by region. ABC's Alex Stone says there's no sign businesses in California will be reopening soon.
The economy here in California is taking a major hit. In the past month, over 3 million Californians have filed for unemployment benefits, and Governor Gavin Newsom says the state is now in a pandemic-induced recession.
These are sober and challenging times, and we believe very confidently these are not permanent.
California is setting up an economic board to tackle recovery. That board includes former Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen, Apple CEO Tim Cook, and former presidential candidate Tom Steyer, among others.
You're listening to ABC News.
U.S. Marshals and detectives in Warren are searching for a suspect accused of killing a mother inside her home. 27-year-old Kamari James is wanted on a murder charge. Police say he's wanted in connection to a shooting inside a house in the 1600 block of Ogden Avenue Northwest. The Traveling Food Pantry food distribution in partnership between Second Harvest Food Bank of the Mahoning Valley, the Campfield Fair Board, the Ohio State Highway Patrol, and the National Guard has 2 more planned distributions. The next is at 11 a.m. Monday at Maplewood High School, and another one on Friday, May 1st at Beaver Local Schools. The Mahoning County Coroner's Office has identified the victim in a rollover crash that happened in Youngstown on Thursday as 31-year-old Marcus Menton. He was thrown from a car while it was rolling. Police say the car was traveling at a high rate of speed before the driver lost control and flipped it several times on Overland Avenue between West Myrtle and Garfield Street. The Salem Super Cruise, set for June 11th through the 14th, has been canceled due to COVID-19. No date has been set for next year's event, but the plan is to have the cruise next year. A Pennsylvania man was stopped in connection with violating Governor Mike DeWine's order prohibiting out-of-state residents from purchasing alcohol in Ohio. It happened on Washington Street in East Palestine. 20-year-old Mitchell Fowler of Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania, was charged with underage offenses involving possession of liquor. Other charges also could result. The primary news source in Mercer County plans some changes. The Sharon Herald announced it will now print papers only 5 days a week starting April 28th. Those days will be Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. An e-paper will be available on Tuesday, but there will be no Sunday paper. After hosting COVID-19 drive-through testing in Austintown and Campbell, Quick Med and CM Laboratories plan to set up testing in the Firestone Pool parking lot in Columbiana. The testing will happen from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Wednesday and Thursday. Those that wish to be tested must be pre-screened prior to testing at www.quickmed-uc.com. From the Power Chevrolet Buick GMC of Calcutta, Ohio newsroom, I'm Dave Price.
For your home or business, call Mazza's Heating and AC in Girard, 330-545-6063. Your factory authorized Bryant dealer. Now, the Storm Team 27 forecast.
We're getting our sunshine back this Saturday. Temperature is warming closer to 50 for our highs. Mostly sunny for the later part of the day. Tonight, staying clear. Temperatures fall to the mid-30s. In the Storm Team 27 Weather Center, I'm Alexis Walters.
Message and data rates may apply.
If you're considering going back to school, ask yourself the following questions. Do you need the flexibility to take classes on your schedule? Do you have college credits you need transferred? Do you want to earn a quality degree from a world-renowned university? If you answered yes to any of these questions, Arizona State University is the perfect school for you. Arizona State University offers over 200 highly ranked degree programs 100% online. You'll earn the same degree as you would on campus from wherever you are on your schedule. Plus, ASU Online accepts most transfer credits. For information, text IMPACT to 35517. Learn for yourself why the Wall Street Journal ranks ASU 5th in the nation for producing the best qualified graduates, and why 88% of ASU grads are recruited within 90 days of graduation. Learn to grow, learn to succeed, and learn to thrive at Arizona State University. To learn more about ASU Online degrees, text IMPACT to 35517. That's IMPACT to 35517.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Youngstown Computer Show. Dave Price and I were just reminiscing about games of old. We're bringing some names out of the proverbial closet and talk about games have come a long way. My son and I talk quite often about what they used to be like, and I'm sure he's annoyed when we go into those. When I was a youngin', those kind of discussions. I age when we go into those conversations. But have you? And my favorite of those games. I mean, I know Dave likes the simulation games with the Roller Coaster Tycoons, and my favorite were the puzzle games. And I'm telling you, this whole puzzle game thing was so. They made the puzzle game super hard, so that you'd have to call like a 900 number in order to get hints and tips and tricks to be able to figure out these puzzles, and they were impossible. Like it was not intuitive. It wasn't, there's no way that you could figure it out just by collecting things around the game. And I was guilty a bunch of times of getting stuck in a game and just paying the $4 or whatever for a clue. But then you look at how they're playing games these days, and they have inter-game purchases, right? They can purchase skins and dances and stuff like that. And it's unbelievable. And they convert money over to V-Bucks. I'm talking about Fortnite. They convert money down to V-Bucks, and then when they spend it, they don't bother then converting it back to money to see what that would have cost. Like somebody developed a skin, and you bought a silly skin for like $9. Would you, if they said this cost $9, would you really have purchased that skin? Or a $20 dance? They programmed a character to do this emote. And it cost you $20. I mean, it's ridiculous, but they are banking. That game is banking. So my version of it was they made the games hard, so you had to call the 900 number and pay your $4. And now they make ways of expressing, I don't even know what to call it. Just expressing yourself through your character and then making you pay for it. So we've just changed on importance, I guess. And so again, we've come a long way on games. If you want to call 330-729-9977, I'm interested to see what you guys are doing to fill your days. Any new stuff that you're into. My Facebook feed has kind of dried up on what people getting into digital stuff, and it's transformed into more analog versions of it. Number of you are doing a ton of recording yourselves and taking pictures of yourselves and doing goofy stuff. TikTok is I don't quite understand it. Again, I'm going to sound like an old guy, but TikTok's short form dances and music and little snippets of self-expression. So if you've been doing a number that, give me a call, 330-729-9977, or you can text me at 333-1570 and let me know what you've been doing to keep yourself busy. Caller early in the program, Herb, and a texter mentioned Raspberry Pi, so I wanted to see what versions. I haven't purchased one since 2014 or 15, and so they've gotten quite a bit faster and more capable than they once were. If you've never seen one, so picture sort of like a, size of a credit card, but a little thicker, like maybe 2 inches, 1.5 inches thick. And you have a little circuit board about the same size as a circuit or a credit card. And it's got all the stuff. It's got a processor on there. It's got some memory on there. It's got all your input. It's got USB ports and Ethernet and pretty much everything that's in the big computer that's, 2 foot by 2 foot is in this really tiny computer. And sometimes it has flash memory on it. Sometimes you have to add your own memory, but it's really small, really low profile. And some of these are running, pretty powerful processors that you may be able to run a graphical user interface on, like a Windows or a graphics interface for Linux, because it's got enough memory. It's got 4 gigs of memory and a pretty decent processor. It's not going to be a powerhouse, but at least it has, can you imagine putting your computer in your back pocket and running around? I guess you do with your phone. So, but again, it's a play toy. It's something that you can use as a utility to, learn more and getting in new territory. So I'm totally open for you buying something like this on a weekend, loading it up a bunch of times, goofing it up a bunch of times, and just playing and seeing what trouble you can get yourself into. Those are always the funnest endeavors. So pretty much it has an HDMI cable where you can plug a regular monitor into it. It has USB, so you can plug a mouse and keyboard into it. It has Ethernet, so you can get the thing on your network or on internet, and then you can go crazy. Go ahead and, play around. Now, Linux, we talk about it a lot, and it always seems like an operating system just for the super aware or someone who's been doing this a while. And if you haven't ever experienced it, here's what you try. So Linux is sort of like an open-sourced operating system. But then there are people and companies that then develop Linux platforms that take the version of Linux and they dress it up on their own. They add tools, utilities, add-ons, and graphical interfaces onto the Linux environment. And so you can shop these different flavors of Linux. So if you hear like Ubuntu, that's a flavor of Linux. If you Linux Mint, or there's a number of other ones. I think there's one called Small Linux or Tiny Linux, and all of these versions of Linux are for different exercise. I mean, some people have a true preference for the version of Linux that they use, and so I would maybe and they're free. So pretty much all of them, you can go to either Linux Mint or Ubuntu and download an ISO. Okay, so an ISO is basically an image file, and you can download an image file and put it on like a flash drive or on your computer. Now you have to be able to get that image file into a computer. So what you're going to need to do is run a bootable, make that ISO bootable. And I will look up. I forget, the name escapes me here, but there's an application that you can run that basically you load the ISO image into. You tell it where your flash drive is, and it creates a bootable media that you can take into the computer. So if you're going to do this, download. And my suggestion, I'm a big fan of Ubuntu. I think it's the most developed, secure, stable of them. That it's a preference thing more than anything else. I can't really make those claims, but it's what I prefer. Go to Ubuntu's website or Linux Mint. That's another fun one. Download the ISO and create your bootable media. It's wizard driven, so that when you flash drive, it's going to ask you some questions like what hard drive do you want to use and what's the name of this computer, and it's going to do most of it on your own. The best you're going to have to do is name some things and put in a password and maybe get it connected to the network. And by the time you look up, you're going to be at a desktop that looks sort of similar to what you're used to in a Windows machine. It has all the functions that you would have on a Windows machine. Aesthetically, it's just a little bit different, but that's a fun one. And Linux traditionally will work on lesser equipment than Windows. So if you have an old machine that served its time and technically still works, but it's pretty dog slow, repurpose it. Either pull the hard drive out and put Linux on it and play with it, or just let Linux take a partition off of that drive and set it up just for Linux use and go from there. It's a cool little thing to experiment with. So maybe you need something to do. Linux might be the perfect thing for a Saturday afternoon when weather's not all that great out there and they're running out of new things to try. So 330-729-9977. Let's go to Mark next. Mark, you're on the Youngstown Computer Show. How can I help you?
Joe, appreciate it. I have 2 questions for you. First off, I have a Pavlon laptop, and I'm thinking about replacing it, and I want to know what you would suggest.
You know what? Right now it's terrible because everybody got bought out because of all of the companies that are sending their workers home for remote. I mean, there's the hardware that's out there is not plentiful. So you're going to end up with the high-end stuff seems like it's available, but anything that mid and low is really hard to get. I like some Dell stuff. Some of their, I don't like all. It's like you just can't get by a Dell and know that you're going to be getting and be happy with it. There's only certain specific ones that I like. I like the Asus brand from just the motherboards and the sort of the type of hardware that they use in their builds.
Okay, what was that again?
ASUS, ASUS.
Okay.
And again, they're available normal retail. So you're going to basically be able to shop HP, ASUS, Dell, and Surfaces, and then some of the other retail brands. Surfaces are okay if that's the form factor that you need. They're a little pricey and, without the oomph. So I have one. I probably wouldn't buy another one. But the one that's sitting in front of me, this has been this Dell Inspiron. It's a 13-inch or Model 13, and it is held up and done everything I've asked it to do. So I hold a lot of respect for it.
Okay. Excellent. The second question is, I've acquired a 3D printer, and I'm just getting in. I put it together. I haven't fired it up yet, but been suggested certain software. Understand you have to convert from STL to G so that it will print. Have you got any suggestions?
The manufacturer will usually couple the hardware with what they suggest using, and some of it's Windows-based, some of it's Linux-based, and I would take their recommendations because they're all different, and it just works. If you follow their suggestions, it usually works better than trying to bring your own software with you and getting it to work.
Gotcha.
What was the brand name by chance?
Ender.
What's that?
I don't remember the brand name. This specific one is called an Ender.
Okay. Yeah, I would check the manufacturer's website and see what they recommend software-wise then.
All righty. Very good. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate you being out there. I have to always be – I have so much love for the audience here. You guys make this show, and I've always said that the listenership here has been so loyal to both this station and myself. Any endeavor that I've ever hooked up with that I've asked for support, and I've always gotten it in spades, and I really do appreciate it. I ask for phone calls. You guys call. I ask you for contributions, and you always contribute. There's never a time where I've asked and you guys didn't come through. So I really appreciate no matter if it's good economy, bad economy, you always have something to share, and you guys are loyal as can be. And you really don't get that on other medias. Like television, you do marketing, and you got consumers, but they don't buy into the people. The microphone lets you in the microphone in this long form stuff lets us get to know one another, right? Over the years, you've gotten to hear me out, and you kind of know, what makes me tick. And new people who warm up to it. Sure, I'm quirky and fun, just like anybody else. But we each have our little skill sets and the level of experience. And this audience comes with such varied backgrounds. We've got telco people who listen to this show. So anytime a question comes up about the networks that are telco, my phone goes crazy with text messages and calls about filling me in on the stuff that I don't know. So it's great that because of you in this station and being in this position that I have so many of those great contacts that constantly in a pursuit of education and keep delivering me more and more stuff that I couldn't get anywhere else. So I appreciate everybody that's out there. 330-729-9977. Let's go to Jerry next. Jerry, you're on the Youngstown Computer Show. How can I help you?
Yes, Joe. I have a problem with my HP Pavilion desktop computer. And I don't know whether it's a problem with the NetZero site. That's the one I use for my email, and I've used that for about 18 years without problems. But I'll give you a little background on this. I got from one of the credit agencies, I got a credit and identity alert, and it says from the dark web, my email address has been compromised. And they also got my home phone number and my street address. They did not get my password. I'm trying to go to, I can get on to NetZero for my email. But what's happening is the computer goes down to its snail's pace, and sometimes it locks up completely. Now, if I don't go to net zero, I can use the computer normally. But when I go to net zero, I run into this problem. And I've seen the CPU and the memory go up over 90%. And sometimes I have to go to the task manager in order to end net zero and start all over again. I don't know if this could be a virus on the system. I've ran many scans, and they don't find anything. I don't know I just don't know if I should, what direction to go in. I've talked through email, I've talked with the net zero people, because at first I was getting, my mail wouldn't go through, and they said the spam blocker had blocked all my mail. So they cleared that up.
Okay, I'm going to take this break and then listen on the radio, and I will answer your call when we come back or answer your question when we come back for this. You're listening to the Youngstown Computer Show on 570 WKBN. I'll be back.
Iranian nuclear. Cops' lives matter too.
I'm sorry about that.
It's the biggest movement of people in Europe. If you're not scared, you will be. Did you get all that?
Shut down.
Stay connected.
We are all connected. News feeds.
The War Machine.
On 570 WKDN.
Advocacy organization Global Citizen to support One World Together at Home, a very special broadcast event supporting and celebrating healthcare workers on the front lines and the World Health Organization as they lead the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic, with appearances by Billie Eilish, Chris Martin, Elton John, J Balvin, John Legend, Keith Urban, Lady Gaga, Paul McCartney, Stevie Wonder, and so many more.
Ready to do this.
Listen on iHeartRadio tonight at 8 p.m.
Message and data rates may apply.
If you're considering going back to school, ask yourself the following questions. Do you need the flexibility to take classes on your schedule? Do you have college credits you need transferred? Do you want to earn a quality degree from a world-renowned university? If you answered yes to any of these questions, Arizona State University is the perfect school for you. Arizona State University offers over 200 highly ranked degree programs 100% online. You'll learn the same degree as you would on campus from wherever you are on your schedule. Plus, ASU Online accepts most transfer credits. For information, text IMPACT to 35517. Learn for yourself why the Wall Street Journal ranks ASU 5th in the nation for producing the best qualified graduates, and why 88% of ASU grads are recruited within 90 days of graduation. Learn to grow, learn to succeed, and learn to thrive at Arizona State University. To learn more about ASU Online degrees, text IMPACT to 35517. That's IMPACT to 35517.
Hi, this is Dan Rivers. Is your home still on the market? Are the only offers coming in lower than you'd hoped for? Well, call my friend Kelly Warren, whose marketing generates more showings, which equals more offers and more money for the sale of your home. Find out about her guarantee at kellysoldit.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Youngstown Computer Show. I am Joe Danier, owner of Youngstown Computer, host of this show, and doing the business show also before this one. So if you tuned in late, you might want to check out, if you're an entrepreneur or love business, love talking about it and listen to it. 12 o'clock is a new business show that I'm hosting called Bottom Line, and we are coupling and partnering with companies around our valley to coach and help strengthen businesses in the marketplace. So make sure you check us out over there. Before the break, we were talking to Jerry about a computer that when they go to check their email slows down quite a bit, snail's pace. And Jerry, I think you were onto something when you said the CPU usage when you're in your email spikes out at 90% and then slows you down, but you're anywhere else and everything looks good. So now Net Zero used to be an internet service provider that was offering dial-up connections for free. And they were heavily subsidized with advertisements at the time. So my initial reaction while I was talking to you was saying, hey, this is probably a bunch of ads that's flaking out your internet or your virus protection, and it's spiking the CPU, is protecting it from that stuff. I actually went to NetZero's site to see how heavy it really was, and it's not very heavy at all. But there's probably some activity with the program that's built on the website that processes your email or allows you to see it, the interface that allows you to engage with it. And it is probably messing with your antivirus where this activity looks suspicious, and then your antivirus is scanning everything and, really slowing the machine down. So what I would probably suggest is if you're going to use NetZero, you might put it on an exception list or a white list for your antivirus so that it doesn't constantly try to scan stuff that is okay. But once you do that, you got to be careful because you're opening emails. And once you give that blessing that everything coming through netzero.net is legit and that you trust, if there's an email that you don't trust that comes through there, then you're in the soup. So you want to be really careful then. That if you're operating poorly, you can maybe suspend it and turn it off, but then I would keep it on. Honestly, email is probably the number one thing we see people get it infected with because of the incoming transmissions. So that's one half of your question. Second one was about the dark web. So a lot of our credit card companies and financial institutions are doing regular scans of your information and comparing it to what they scan off of the dark web. When they find your information on the dark web, they either alert you to it or at least it raises red flags. So that's a good service to be able to have. It's not going to be surprising that you're found on the dark web. Pretty much everybody we've done business with at one point or another has had a database or an email address or something hacked, right? And usually when you get one of these alerts, you want to change all the information that you possibly can. So the details of it, what got leaked. Well, an email address, okay, well, your email address is in a database. It's on the dark web. So either you bail on the email address or you just make sure that your, how you ended up on the dark web is either you operated on a computer that was compromised or somebody that you know or someone you do business with was compromised and your information just as a third party, you were just caught in somebody else's mess. And so you want to take precautions, but you don't want to overreact to it because I think most of us probably have information that appears on distributable email address lists and stuff like that would come up in a dark web scan. Now, if it's something critical like Social Security numbers or credit card numbers, immediately get that stuff changed. Because the way the dark web works is it's sort of like a underground marketplace where you can buy and sell things, right? I can buy drugs. I could buy people. The exploiting, sex, the underground sex slaves and whatnot. You can trade them on that thing. You can do weapons, guns. You can do really hard to get things that you couldn't imagine would be available is on there. It's kind of scary to know what's available on there. But one of the biggest pieces of that business puzzle is identity and identity theft. And so if your information appears, let's just say I'm going to pick on Home Depot because it happened and it was a really long time ago, but it was the best example. So a lot of us do business with Home Depot. They got a database that got hacked. It showed up on the dark web. Somebody got your email addresses, right? To let everybody know that it happened. And now the people had your name and they had your address and they had your email address. They knew something about you. So someone comes along and says, hey, I want to buy your list, the Home Depot list on it. So maybe I pay $100 on the dark web and now I have the whole data dump for Home Depot. And this is all just hypothetical. Sorry, Home Depot, for even picking on you, but still, you're just an example. And so I bought it, $100. I own this list. Now I can take that list and put it into my own. Now I take a phone number that appeared on my list. I was like, hey, Betty Smith, I see that your email. And then maybe I purport to be somebody who I can play off from that list. So maybe I know just enough information to pretend to be your bank. Say, I'm John from Chase Bank, and I see that your email address is blah, 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 right? Well, now they told you what your email address is, right? And so they're a little bit believable. So they're really good at talking around the what they are, and they start letting you fill in your own answers to try to really play it off like they're those people. So that's the kind of stuff you start getting hit with phishing attacks and spear phishing attacks because they're playing on information they have on you, and the more things they have on you, the better they can trick you because they can really convince you that they are from where they say they are, even though they're not. All right, 330-729-9977. You can also text me at 333-1570. I will check those text messages during this break and share them with the audience when we come back. You're listening to the Youngstown Computer Show on 570 WKVN. I'll be back.
Talking about the coronavirus with children and teens can be overwhelming for caregivers. The Child Mind Institute has provided the following guidance to help alleviate some stress and anxiety. Don't be afraid to discuss the coronavirus. Be developmentally appropriate. Be reassuring. Focus on what you're doing to stay safe. Stick to routine and have ongoing conversations. Visit childmind.org for resources, support, and daily Facebook Live sessions with child psychologists. childmind.org.
And here's some of the stories we're working on today. U.S. Marshals and detectives in Warren are searching for a suspect accused of killing a mother inside her home. The traveling food pantry plans 2 more stops the next Monday, April 20th at Maplewood High School, and Friday, May 1st at Beaver local schools. The Mahoney County Coroner's Office has identified the victim in a rollover crash that happened in Youngstown on Thursday as 31-year-old Marcus Menton. The Salem Super Cruise that was set for June 11th through the 14th has been canceled due to COVID-19. A Pennsylvania man was stopped in connection with violating Governor Mike DeWine's order prohibiting out-of-state residents from purchasing alcohol. It happened on Washington Street in East Palestine. The primary news source in Mercer County plans some changes coming to the Sharon Herald. From the Columbiana Cadillac Buick Chevrolet Newsroom, drivecolumbiana.com, I'm Dave Price.
Our next update at 3 from the O'Charley's Digital Studios. $9.99 menu, 9 great meals, 1 great price. O'Charley's. For your home or business, call Mazza's Heating and AC in Girard, 330-545-6063. Your factory authorized Bryant dealer. Now, the Storm Team 27 forecast.
We're getting our sunshine back this Saturday. Temperature is warming closer to 50 for our highs. Mostly sunny for the later part of the day. Tonight, staying clear. Temperatures fall to the mid-30s. In the Storm Team 27 Weather Center, I'm Alexis Walters.
Did China really cover up the coronavirus outbreak? Are they telling us the full truth of where the virus came from? And how many of their people were really infected? Are they also holding back critical medical supplies? Now, Greg Kelly Reports gives the shocking answers to those questions on Newsmax TV. So tune into Greg Kelly Reports tonight on Newsmax TV. It's already the fastest growing cable news channel in America, carried on every major cable system, including DirecTV, Xfinity, Dish, Spectrum, Optimum, Cox, Fios, Uverse, Suddenlink, WOW, and more. Just check your cable guide today. And don't forget to vote in Newsmax's national poll, asking Americans if they support President Trump's handling of the crisis. It's easy to vote. Just text the word BIRD to 39747. That's BIRD to 39747. Let your voice be heard about President Trump. Just text the word BIRD to 39747 and watch Newsmax TV. It's real news for real people.
Message and data rates may apply.
If you're considering going back to school, ask yourself the following questions. Do you need the flexibility to take classes on your schedule? Do you have college credits you need transferred? Do you want to earn a quality degree from a world-renowned university? If you answered yes to any of these questions, Arizona State University is the perfect school for you. Arizona State University offers over 200 highly ranked degree programs 100% online. You'll learn the same degree as you would on campus from wherever you are on your schedule. Plus, ASU Online accepts most transfer credits. For information, text LESSON to 35517. Learn for yourself why the Wall Street Journal ranks ASU 5th in the nation for producing the best qualified graduates, and why 88% of ASU grads are recruited within 90 days of graduation. Learn to grow, learn to succeed, and learn to thrive at Arizona State University. To learn more about ASU Online degrees, text LESSON to 35517. That's LESSON to 35517.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Youngstown Computer Show. I am Joe Danier, owner of Youngstown Computer. This is your Saturday show. We talk about things that are happening in tech. Got to explain what a NAS was the other day, and I thought, I'm going to explain this to the audience because I haven't talked about one of these in quite a while. And so, early on, we were very server-centric. Okay, everybody had a server and had all the bells and whistles. And then we started having access to devices that fragmented that up, where if you were just storing files, and you didn't need a bunch of secure locations and username and password challenges. You just needed a solid place that was fast, that was redundant. But for backups purposes, these NAS really came in handy. So NAS is NAS, Network Attached Storage, and you plug this in. It's basically a box that has a controller board in it, and it has a bunch of hard drives that you can set up like a RAID system or just individual drives. And that computer has is an interface where allow you to set users and set permissions and turn services on and stuff like that. And then once it's on the network, that computer becomes accessible like a server might. And so if you're just warehousing data, it becomes a really good, really good sort of option. If you didn't want to go for a full-blown server, you wanted something that was more specific to data sharing. And so I just wanted to mention, if you didn't know these things were out there, so smaller versions are available on the retail side. Western Digital sells one, Seagate sells one, and it's basically an external hard drive that has a network interface. So it's basically you can use it in capacity of an external, or you can switch it over and make it central. So it's really cool if like your computer has limited solid-state hard drive. You don't want to put your music and your movies on it and just take up all of your space. It's cool to have it sitting somewhere out on the network and be able to put that stuff permanently in the network. And that way, when you're in your environment, you can see it, you can copy things back and forth, but it becomes the large warehouse, and then you become the the smaller version of that. So it's really, it's not for everybody, but if you have a situation like we do, we're hoarders when it comes to data. So we have to have a place to put it, and external drives are annoying sometimes in being able to find it and move it around. When you plug into the network, no matter what computer you go up to, it's there. Not quite as fast as USB 2.0 or 3.0, but if it's if it's relative, if you do a whole data copy, I started a 500 gig data copy the other day, and it said like 27 hours to copy it over. So, big data transmissions aren't great for copying over the network, but you see what I mean. 330-729-9977. I'm an engineering ops technician for Comcast. Just want to let you know that we boosted Xfinity data rates for our customers and opened up a ton of Wi-Fi secure hotspots. We're on 24/7 shifts, adding capacity. Feel free. So this is one of our awesome local internet providers here, or providing technicians, and telling that they increase capacity. A couple weeks ago, we said that everybody's at home, everybody's on the internet, and we're all using our devices, and we were crippling. We were just using everything up. And all of the providers responded. I mean, in that first couple of days of this whole quarantine thing, you had some outages, you had some disconnections, and everybody had a chance to catch their breath and keep up. So I want to tell you, Texter, we really appreciate you doing what you guys did. You did a phenomenal job. All we got to experience on the consumer side is we got a couple hiccups, a couple disconnections. You guys kept it going. So we really appreciate everybody who's been working tirelessly, and especially in thankless jobs where you don't even know you're behind the scenes making these things run. So we appreciate you out there. I'm glad you're doing well. You talking about old basic programs, etc., made me remember I have a couple of collections of Radio Shack Coco computer software, drives, sound cards, mags. What was cool about Radio Shack is we had a Commodore 64. And you could go to Radio Shack, and they had these public domain software programs. You'd take in your blank floppy disks, and you could copy any of the programs that they had in this sleeve. And we would sit back there for hours and just make copies of everything, games and programs and whatever. And so it was pretty neat in an era, to be alive during that time, where you just don't see a company that allow you to take public domain software. I don't even think there is public domain. I mean, open source is as public domain as you get, but you don't need to go to a place to copy it down. But that was just a cool little thing that, cool little quirky benefit of just being around Radio Shack. But then Radio Shack, what it started doing is instead of it filling the showroom with electronics, then they started filling the lecture with electronics. So it's not stuff that you built and kits that you put together, but stuff like remote control cars and stuff that was already built. And we already had toy stores, right? You already had, Toys R Us and all those guys that you were competing with. I mean, I really think if they would have stuck to maybe the kits and marketed the kits, that they might have done a little bit better. But I don't know. That's speculation. 330-729-9977. Let's go to Dennis next. Dennis, you're on the Youngstown Computer Show. How can I help you?
Say, you're talking about the, I've got a 5 terabyte storage, whatever you want to call it.
A NAS or external?
External.
Okay.
I hate getting old. What's the best, easiest to use program that will convert CD movies, you know, the ones that you buy in the store and whatnot, and music, so I can download it into that storage system?
So you want to rip the disc, so if you ever had to recreate it, you could rip it down and then rip it back up?
Yeah, I just want to get rid of the discs altogether and just
Right.
put it on the storage.
Okay, I'll look. I haven't done it in so long. Dealt with. Say that again, Dave.
Well, it's
Homes
to convert
Tech.
the.
Okay, Dave chimed in and said Homes Tech is the one that he. And we'll post it over on the Youngstown Computer Show Facebook page too. But I haven't used it since like Nero and those guys, so my information is going to be pretty outdated. But we'll share that with what Dave suggested here in a minute.
Oh, that's the most up-to-date transferring from disk to whatever.
Well, he uses it, so his recommendation is I have had a high regard. So yeah, Homes Tech. Yep.
Homes Tech. That's like homestech.com or something like that.
Homes Tech. Yep.
Okay. Okie doke. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay. Thanks, Dennis. Appreciate it. And that's one of the functions. I recognized that the other day that nothing was, I don't even have a physical CD or DVD in my house. And, what we used to do, we used to collect ISO images from programs, like old programs. So if you had a Windows 2003 installation, then I had a library of old ISO images. And so we'd use these programs to do what our last caller was suggesting, which is it was just make a snapshot of what was on the disk. And it was a pretty extensive library. We got it pretty good. And we just started doing that again. But when I was looking around, I was like, hey, I told my guys, hey, grab all the CDs and DVDs and make copies of them. And everybody looked around like, there's no CDs and DVDs anymore, old guy. And so I just haven't had to do it in a while. Even the computer systems that we sold, I haven't put an actual DVD or CD-ROM drive in a computer system. Well, I take that back. I did one or two. We sold maybe 200 computer systems over the last year, and 2 of them requested that they have a CD or DVD drive. So that's proportionally, that's really low. And thinking about it, both of those didn't really have a practical function. Just they wanted it there just in case they needed it. When I first started, the churches all had their music and their presentations on and their Bibles even on DVD. So we would build these servers, these huge server towers that would have multiple DVD drives. And so, like, there were 50 DVD drives, like all the way up and down these, not 50, but you know what I mean? There were tons of DVD drives. And that way we put them on the network and they can pull from disc 1, disc 2, disc 3. Because remember, a lot of these things, if you think old school games, they would make you swap out discs when they needed the next, the next part of the game. Well, same thing with the Bibles and the stuff like that, where there was more data on the discs. So they couldn't just change it out in the middle of a service or something like that. So they would load all of their discs on all of their drives, and when they needed it and called on it, all the letters or the discs were available. So we got to do some reminiscing today. That was awesome. So a little bit about what Youngstown Computer is going to do and what is. So I am the runner on the commercial side of the company. So I take care of businesses and setting up networks and selling equipment and doing software. Sort of what you would, if you were large enough to have an internal IT staff, you would have your own Joe working there, 8 hours a day, fixing computers and setting up stuff. And most of our companies, our customers don't need a full-time person. They just don't have enough computer work to have a full-time person. So you can contract us to do that service work for you, And that way, usually it's at a, not as much, it doesn't cost as much as if you had someone on staff. And that way, we manage your backups and sell you new equipment and do troubleshooting and set up new printers, anything that you need us to do. We even also work with other IT, internal IT. So if you have a couple guys, but you occasionally need some help, you can call us in and do, help with new equipment setup and stuff like that. So that is commercial services. Pretty much everything imaginable is something that, we can get into and handle. There's very few things that we have to, to outsource. But usually what we'll do, if we know that somebody other than us can do it better, we will suggest it, because when you hire us, when you do business with us, we're working for you. We're like your attorney. We're working on your behalf. And so we're not going to always say that we are your best option. Sometimes there's other options. That's why you're putting us in your corner, is because we're advocating for you as the customer. So if we find that, sometimes that we have to stand between you and a vendor, right, then we're going to be making sure that that vendor doesn't say or do something that isn't true or take advantage of you or whatever. So a lot of times it's we're the bulldog in the room to keep somebody honest and their sales staff honest, that kind of a thing. But anyway, so that's commercial side. Residential services, that is handled by Rich. Many of you have already met and known. We had the residential services dormant for a year. We were just so busy with the commercial side. And it took somebody to really pay attention to it and give it its own sort of own stage. And Rich piped up, I think the end of last year, and said that he was willing and he really wanted to do it. So we turned operations over to Rich. He does residential services. So if you have a home computer, Rich is the person to talk to. Negotiate with him. He's under the Youngstown Computer banner, which means that he services any of those customers. But as far as processes, we make sure that we have him follow the same procedural guidelines that we have. So operationally, he's still, if you hear me talk about it, and that's what you'll see, in that office as well. But he's the showrunner on that side. But if you call 330-259-7278, you can get to either the commercial or residential side. We are still only servicing in emergency deals. Commercially, same thing. Only people that have products or services that are necessary, we're making sure those networks are up. Anything that is elective, we're trying to wait until this is done to be able to maneuver, just so that we keep our guys safe. Same thing residential. If you've got a school ager that needs a computer to be able to do their classes, I'd consider that important enough to do. But if you're doing some elective stuff and putting our guys out in the field at risk, let's make sure that it's important enough to take that risk. But operationally, we're going to be full staffed coming up next week on Tuesday, which means it's still going to be sort of emergency capacity, but we're going to be able to offer some additional services that we usually don't offer. Like we can do a whole lot more remote setups. So you'll hear me make an offering on social media coming up this week of what we're willing to do phone-wise and remote-wise. So if you want to do a computer cleanup and have us do it remotely, that's something that we can do and pull off, and we'll have the staffing to be able to do it. So just watch for that. We're going to do payment processing right over our website and do all of that stuff. But our people are going to be available to start taking your non-emergency issues if we can field it without exposing anybody, or at the very least amount of exposing anybody to any kind of risk. That's what we're going to do. But we're going to be operational. So we'll be able to field calls from 9 to 5 as normal. So we'll get back into some normalcy. And I know a lot of you will snap to a little bit and do some get back into normalcy. But again, let Rich call you into that office. I wouldn't just show up with something. He's got to be able to protect staff over there too, which means he has to be prepared and make sure that if anybody has any problems, they can be scarce when they have visitors doing drop-offs. So again, 330-259-7278. That's the office number. You can call me and leave a message. If at anything you heard today, you want to hook up on any of the business opportunities with me, or you want to do any of the broadcast stuff downtown, you can also use that number and leave a message. Just give me some time to make calls. We've been really busy and getting inundated with new requests, and the new requests take a little bit more time than just servicing a call. These are people's livelihoods that have to be parsed through, and when I get a bunch of calls all at one time, I just know that I'm going to be short on time to respond quickly. I'm going to respond to everybody, but it's just going to take a little while. So I appreciate everybody's patience through this. And downtown, we are doing some exciting stuff down there. We are doing full broadcasts of streaming, and we're bringing in some talent and giving them a chance behind a microphone, putting a camera fixed on them to see if they if the streaming world if they like it, if they're good at it. So if you have any interest in putting yourself out there a little bit, and just let me know that you're interested. I'm especially looking for musicians and comics right now. So if you're in either of those, you have skill set at either of those, get with me. You can email me, joe@youngstowncomputer.com, and let me know. Give me your information, and again, I'll put you in that list of. I think I got 7 or 8 people who are interested in doing this. I'll have to call one by one and do a little interview. But if you want to put your name on that list, I'll get in touch with you. We've got some paid opportunities coming forward to use some of these awesome skills that we have in people in this area. And so and people sitting on the sidelines, I want to get them off the sidelines and get them creating. So I appreciate everybody out there. Phone number 330-729-9977. You can also text message me at 333-1570. Let's see, check the text messages real quick. If we have any that come in over the next break, I'll make sure that I read those when we get back. Again, 330-729-9977. You're listening to the Youngstown Computer Show on 570 WKBN. I'll be back.
Hello, I'm Ohio Governor Mike DeWine. For the latest information on what you need to know about the coronavirus, visit the state's website at coronavirus.ohio.gov, or you can call 1-833-4-ASK-ODH 7 days a week.
Furnished by Governor Mike DeWine. Aired by the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Listen to Kelvin. What he's about to say could change your life.
I'm 6'2", and I was about 290. And I lost weight fast. I trimmed down. Now I'm about 235. I'm probably at about 9, maybe 10% body fat. That's great. I lost probably at least 60 pounds in probably 3.5, 4 months. Color of my hair's coming back. Skin looks better. Obviously gaining muscle. My muscle mass is coming back. Thank you for providing an awesome product. Somebody who actually has and does what they say they will. That's awesome.
That's great, Kelvin. Losing that belly fat in less than 4 months is outstanding. Since 2004, Andro 400 has been changing men's lives, like Kelvin, and can help you lose belly fat, gain energy, and improve your lifestyle. We guarantee it. Go to andro400.com for more true testimonials, before and after photos, and special discounts. Only available on andro400.com. andro400.com.
Prescription products require an online physician consultation and are only available if the physician determines a prescription is appropriate. Subscription required. See website for full details and important safety information.
Hey guys, good news. The expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means the prescription medication to treat ED is super affordable at 4hims.com. And now get your first online doctor's visit free at 4hims.com. That's right. Zero copay, no awkward face-to-face conversations to get your prescription. That's really good news. To start your free online visit, go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's FORHIMS.com/joy.
The free iHeartRadio app. Always here when you want to stay connected or need to be informed with thousands of live radio stations, so you know the very latest. iHeartRadio also has entertainment for you and the entire family. Disney Radio, Kids Bop playlists, playlists for family time, plus podcasts like Wow in the World from NPR and Story Pirates. Get it all on your phone, computer, smart speakers, and more. Over 250 different devices. Here when you need us and always free. Download the iHeartRadio app now.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Youngstown Computer Show. Dave was just sharing with me. VidBox is the program that we were talking about with that last caller about transferring some of the disk videos or images over to the computer. So VidBox, it's available on retail. He looked up Best Buy. I'm sure it's elsewhere too, but Best Buy has VidBox. So there you go. I was also looking up Raspberry Pis. We spent some time talking about it on this episode about what these things are, and I think that I'm going to purchase a couple of. It looks like they have the 4s are the newest one, and they're around $80. and it looks like the 3s are around $50. So I might buy some 3s just to reorient myself. The ones I had were considerably older than these versions. So I'd like to buy one, play around with it, and see how far they've come with the advancements on it. And again, these are just like mini computers that have all of the functions of a regular computer, just smaller and less powerful. They have to step down, the power consumption because it's sort of like even lesser than a laptop. So they got to keep power low so that the components are smaller and probably more delicate, I'm assuming. But anyway, we're gonna do that. And one of our early callers asked about maybe teaching about doing a Raspberry Pi build. And if you're interested in that, please text me. Anything you guys. And one of my fortes was we used to do training on Wednesday nights, and we had a group of students that would follow me from class to class to class to class. And I would end every class by saying, "So, what do you want to learn next time?" And then they would let me know, and I would set the topic for the next class based on what the people in that class wanted to learn. And sometimes, it was random. Sometimes we'd do an eBay class, sometimes digital photography. And I would just basically let the class titles follow the interest of those who are interested in taking the class. And so if anybody comes across something that they really like to be taught, I really got started in this industry professionally through teaching. And people would be able to call on me for applications that I would, take a look at the day before and be able to teach it. I just have the insight being able to teach some of these topics in a way that break it down to people who just got started so that it's not so intimidating. Because I'm telling you, I've sat through a bunch of classes and they suck. They're terrible. For me, I'm just a terrible. Education was so hard for me going through school. I would zone out, and the way the samples and the information they would give you were just so bland and dry. And I was always thinking, like, you just taught me that, but what the heck am I going to do with it? And if it wasn't practical, it shot right out my ear, and I never knew. So I teach these classes based on what you're going to do with it. So if someone said, I want to take a picture, right? So them taking the act of taking a picture becomes more important than the menus and how to get to them, right? Because that's what you said you wanted to get to. Now, I might, indirectly teach you how to get through the menus, but you're going to learn how to take that picture, and it's going to be wrapped around it. You're going to feel like the whole thing's wrapped around how you want to be, the topic that you handed me, not the other way around. So I just do it different. Now, after my son was born, I wanted to spend more time with him and less time teaching. It's just the fact of it. I love the kid, and I want to spend his growing up being able to spend time with him. And he's getting a little bit older, and if I show up on a Wednesday and he's not even there, and my wife isn't around to hang out with, then I'm open again for teaching. My life's stabilizing a little bit at this time where I have Wednesday evenings. Sometimes I'll be more free. So make suggestions. If you want to know or learn something, or you just want to do something publicly, I'm not necessarily the authority, but I can set up an environment where a bunch of people can get together that want to learn something, and we can dive into it. So if you want to jump into taking a TV apart and looking at the backlight, then you message me and say, hey, I want to see that done. And then we can blow stuff up and light stuff on fire too along the way, because I have a lot of fun doing that stuff too. So, but send me an email, joe@youngstowncomputer.com. If you got some outlandish things you want to be a part of. Again, I don't really want to run it as a regular class. I've done that a lot. And so more like a lab where we get together and just, learn stuff. So anyway, great show. Thanks, everybody, for calling. I appreciate it. Great contribution. Next week, we'll do the business show at 12, and then 1 o'clock, we'll do the computer show. So we'll see you again next week. Everybody stay healthy. Have a great one. You've now listened to the Youngstown Computer Show on 570 WKBN.
Have you wanted to speak a new language, but you thought it'd be too hard or take too much time? Then go to Babbel.com, download the app, and try it for free. In just 15 minutes a day, you'll be on your way to speaking a new language in